Your screen right now are coming to you from Hyderabad House in the national capital, where the Australian Prime Minister and his delegation are in bilateral talks with the Prime Minister Modi. Do remember that this is the third day of Anthony Albanese's visit to India, and on agenda are several bilateral issues, including, of course, economics, security, defense and strategy. Education also is something that's been discussed between the two sides, with Australia, of course, talking about the fact that degrees that people have got in Australia will be valid in India and vice versa. So that's been seen as a major boost to the education policy of both countries. Well, apart from that, of course, there are several other issues that are being discussed. Security is, of course, top priority. Let's go across on the phone line to Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor. Abhishek, several issues, of course, are being discussed between both sides. Now, however, there is a great deal of focus on a security and strategic alliance.
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, the manner in which things have changed really in the Indo-Pacific in the last few years, Nupur, there is strategic realignment of forces there, and there is this thought that is gaining ground that a lot of nations need to come together and collaborate to make sure that the expansionism that almost every nation in the neighborhood of China faces, from India and Ladakh to Taiwan, of course, and the Philippines and Indonesia and other nations in the South China Sea, they need to collaborate in some manner, and that's why we are seeing Australians also realigning themselves and their strategic interests over the last few years, coming back to the Quad. And in fact, they are hosting the Malabar exercises for the first time later this year. And so that's the strategic component and the backdrop in which this bilateral summit is happening. And then, of course, the bilateral component of increasing the trade between two sides, the people-to-people contact. Remember, a huge number of Indian migrants keep moving towards Australia, and there is a vibrant diaspora there. Prime Minister would be traveling to Australia later this year, in the month of May, in fact, to participate in the Quad Summit, which is happening in Australia. And then again, Prime Minister Albanese comes back in September to participate in the G20 Leaders Summit. So there's top-level engagement happening. The two leaders have already met for the 3 times. It's the 4th time they're meeting. And this is the first meeting happening after signing of the free trade agreement, and that's they're expected to give a major push to bilateral trade. So all those things, trade, economics, commerce, and people-to-people contact, a glimpse of which we saw yesterday in Ahmedabad and Mumbai, when Prime Minister Albanese and Prime Minister Modi were present at the opening of the last Border Gavaskar series test match between India and Australia, and then Prime Minister Albanese in Mumbai on board INS Vikrant, where in fact he formally announced the Malabar exercises to be hosted by Australia. So all those things are now having taken place. We are looking forward to a joint statement by the two sides, where the two leaders will be speaking on how they intend to take the relationship and the partnership, comprehensive strategic partnership, forward.
All right, Abhishek Kapoor, thank you very much for joining us and bringing us all those details. So pictures on your screen are of the talks that are taking place in Hyderabad House in New Delhi.